Yo, what's up, guys? I am back after a 2 month. Uh, I'm not sure what to call it. When I was last recording videos, I was planning to fully pursue music as a career and drop out of school, and that was my full intention. But ended up going back to school or staying in school, and I've just been thinking about this morning why I did that, and I'm not exactly sure. What happened was I started going all in on music over winter break, and I was playing guitar hours a day. I had a place to play. I was completely changing up my sleep schedule and my whole life schedule. I went from very rigid routine in the fall semester to basically throwing that all out and saying, and I'm going to stay up until 2 a.m. Every night, and my sleep schedule is going to revolve around that so that I can stay up late to go out to watch performances, to perform myself. And so I started doing that, started like throwing everything else to the side, including like diet and stuff. Like I was eating at regular times the same foods, and I'm just like, whatever. All my other pursuits, whatever. Like I'm just gonna fully pursue music with all my energy, and I was doing that for a week or two, or maybe three, during Christmas break. But basically, I like burned out. Like I went through this whole thing of like starting it and like going full force and like burning out in a couple of weeks. And basically like my first classes for the next semester were coming up, and I'm like still not planning to go to school. I started realizing though, like these are classes that I chose. This is not like a academic counselor saying like this is the courses you need to take for your major, and they're kind of like gen eds or something. Like no, I chose all these classes, like handpicked them all. These are things I wanted to learn and study more. And that was kind of in the back of my mind. And then essentially the morning of the first day of class, like I wasn't planning to go, or the night before, but I stayed up really late. I totally expected not to wake up in time for the first class. I ended up waking up in time for the first class, and I was like, well, I mean, I woke up for the first, in time for the first class. Like, even if I drop it, like, why, might as well just go and check out the first course or the first day. Like, these first courses, like, I can drop later, or at least, I mean, I can get the biggest overview of the subject, the most valuable ROI of the subject just in the first class, the most valuable class probably, depending on the subject. But so I'm just like, might as well go. I ended up going, and then I was like, well, I'm already here at campus, like, might as well go to my first class. For first one was physics, and the second one was pre-calc, and I was like, well, might as well just go to that as well. And then the next day I was like, well, I've already gone to the first two classes, like, might as well just go to the couple more classes, just feel it out, and go from there. And that's what I basically did, and it just didn't end. I'm like, well, might as well go to the next one. I've already gone this far. What is that? Is that there's a lot of things, human behavior is complex. There's a lot of psychological things going on, a lot of effects, and a lot of neuroscience, but mostly psychology. And to say, well, it was just this or that, it's probably an oversimplification, but somehow we're here. It's now spring break, and I've been taking 18 credits. My last video was the foundation of health and success, or something along those lines, and essentially that being, to sum it up, movement, daily movement, as like vital for health and success and motivation and not burning out. Because that's what I realized at the end of the burnout was, like, I've been through cycles like this before. I've gone all in and I've thrown everything out the window, and pursued something with full focus. It doesn't work, at least not for me. It, especially when you sacrifice like movement. I just need movement. Like the days that I've felt like the most like burnt out, like something needs to change, it's not working. And usually when I feel like that, it leads to like I need to make drastic changes, when in reality it's that's not the answer. Like the days I felt the most burned out in my life in the past 4 or 5 years are the days coincidentally, that I have no movement. I've sat inside all day. I mean, I that's something I just picked up a pattern. I was like, okay, if that's the case, like, might as well build this habit of just a little bit of movement every day and build up slowly over time. And every day I get a baseline of movement no matter what I'm doing. I'm always having some baseline that keeps me like stable and from like feeling burnt out. Um, and so I've done that, and it's been massively successful. To say that it has contributed to everything I've done the past couple of months, I would say that's hard. It's an oversimplification, but the last 2 months, I've probably gotten smarter, more knowledgeable, grown more than any 2 month period in my life. And I've done it through just the simple stuff. Not like I'm going all in. It was like, well, this is a good choice. Well, this is a good choice. Okay. Why am I making bad choices here? Let me just observe. Okay. What's the deeper thing underlying here? Can we possibly change that a little bit? And the biggest takeaway is consistency over time, a little bit every day, is the way to do it, to any of it. So I said, okay, well, movement, this is going to be if I want to be a musician or whatever, this is going to be part of my life anyway. Like, if I want to really be great, like, this is very, it's about as directly, indirectly, the most direct, indirect way of improving music is like movement and like staying stable psychologically, mentally. So I did that, and not only have I been in school, but I was all like, I'm either in school or I'm doing music, one or the other. Well, I was like, okay, well, I'll do school, but I'll also have music as a priority. So every day I've been practicing guitar, and I've been singing every day, and I've been freestyling every day, where I just put a beat on and I just let ideas flow. And at first, it's just crazy because I've only been doing a little bit each day, singing for maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes, depending on the day, practicing guitar for anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour, and freestyle for like anywhere from 3 minutes to 10 minutes. And over 2 months, only 2 months, I've made massive progress in guitar, massive, and singing. I'm not the greatest singer as of now, but I have made improvement just from doing that. And I have gone from mumbling a bunch of like, and like not being able to get any words out, to getting ideas out while I'm just off the cuff, letting them come out. So yeah, guitar wise though, I'm really making massive strides, really massive strides. Like, I'm really getting good at lead reading, just like being able to take a piece of music, get the sheet music, and play it through like almost instantly. And that has come from a development of my own system. I'm not aware of anyone that does a system like this, and it came from continuing to study learning. So every night I've been reading a little bit, sometimes a paragraph, sometimes a few pages of a book called Make It Stick, a book on learning, one probably the most scientific, best books on learning. And I've been learning more about learning every day, continuing developing that learning system, and then applying that to my guitar system, because I'm like, I've developed an insanely good conceptual learning system, but where is the proof of concept? If I'm really as fast of a learner and as good of a learner as I think I am, why am I not like a master of guitar? Why am I not a master of music? So then I realized there's a difference between conceptual learning and motor learning. There's a lot of overlap, but I had not developed my motor learning strategies and understanding very much. So started developing that more. Beyond that, I've been in, like I said, 18 credits. I'm taking physics, physics 1, pre-calc, algebra, intro to neuroscience 2, physics lab, computer science principles principles lab, and then intro to business. So 7 courses and 18 credits, or 5 courses and 2 labs. I've got like a 4.0 right now, some classes over 100, most of them in the A plus range. I think physics is probably like an A now, but studying way less than I did last semester, probably learning more, because I've developed my learning system even further, and a lot of it employs ChatGPT now, but using first principles of learning, like active recall and retrieval and varied practice and interleaving practice and spaced repetitions and elaboration and reflection, really like the gold standards of learning. training an AI model, a ChatGPT model on those first principles, and then mastering subjects, mastering books, mastering concepts very quickly, and connecting them to the ideas that I already have because I'm generating all the ideas. ChatGPT is just questioning me and prompting me towards what I should be thinking about. I've been reading a book a day, starting about 2 weeks ago. So today was The Millionaire Next Door. So over the past about 2 weeks, I've done these. So I've done the 100 ranking most influential people in history, the Path Between Seas about the Panama Canal, Jaina Sutras, which are ancient Jain texts, strategic value investing, which is really like Ben Graham and like early Buffett type investing, range, which is about generalists versus specialists who are more successful, peak, which is mostly about mastery and how to become very good at what you do, focusing more on deliberate practice and mental representations. Those are the big ideas in that one. Practicing mind, less scientific, more philosophical, about improving and learning, more about discipline and patience and consistency over time. Influence, like marketing, persuasion, why people say yes. The biggest idea being scarcity is the greatest driver of saying yes. Psychology of money, extremely similar to Millionaire Next Door. It takes what I call a Franklin or a Buffett or a Munger type approach to building wealth, which is about frugality and investing what you save. The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene. A lot about obviously seduction, both like romantically, but also just with human interactions. What makes someone like attractive? The biggest idea being like not being needy. Being needy is very like sending out a signal that like people want to stay away from. But if you have an energy of having, then you attract people into your life. Very similar to reality transurfing, actually. The biggest idea is being like you decide which reality you want by the energy and emotion you project in the world. So being needy, project out in the world that you don't have, and your reality will reflect not having. But if you have an energy of I already have, and I'm complete, and I already am this thing, well then everything in your life and your experience comes to basically prove that or reinforce those emotions and energies. Dopamine Nation, a lot about addiction, but also not just drug addiction or serious addictions. Like everyone's addicted in the modern world. Modern things are so low effort and high dopamine releasing, and the pain-pleasure balance of the brain, which means that if you do something very pleasurable, it's going to be right after that you're going to crash and rebound and overcorrect and feel more pain and less motivation than before you even had that pleasurable stimulus. And also the opposite is true. So if you have a painful experience, you're going to rebound and overcorrect into a pleasurable experience after that stimulus is removed. Another big idea being that high dopamine over long times actually upregulates or desensitizes dopamine receptors. And this is probably a big thing in addiction, where people have high stimulus or they have high dopamine releasing activities, and this causes them to actually feel numb to other things that are less stimulating and only feel normal when they have their high stimulus, because their new baseline is high stimulus and they become desensitized. Deep work, largely about removing distractions, and deep intellectual work being extremely valuable and rare in the modern world. Jaws, about basically like development of the jaw and mouth breathing, and a lack of development of facial muscles and jaw muscles in the modern world. And Plant Paradox, which talks about lectins. So gluten is the one most people know, but there's also these other defensive chemicals and a lot of vegetables and plants that people eat that Gundry proposes is a big cause of modern autoimmune diseases and just disease in general. Millionaire Next Door. Big ideas being basically there's a difference between status and wealth, and people that chase status, which is most people, we are social creatures, but chasing status and social symbols can actually be one of the worst things for developing wealth. And then again, frugality and just patience and long-term investing. So those are the books I've been reading. Hours and hours and hours spent on those, developing ideas. But as you can see, I've retained that information a lot better than just someone that read the book passively, as I used to. I used to read every word in a book, cover to cover. Now I have too little time in my life to be doing that. Basically for any book. There's some books that are really worth slow digesting, and those have to earn that spot, and why make it stick. That's one of them right now. And another one I'm doing right now is $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozy. Basically the playbook of modern entrepreneurship. Really, really valuable. On top of the books, on top of the courses, on top of the music, I've also been meditating daily. I learned that meditation actually can reduce amygdala activity, which is considered the fear center of the brain. So you can actually become less anxious and less fearful by meditating more. I've been learning more about operational research or operations research. It's basically the math and science of optimal decision making. Very important in big businesses and data-driven decision making. So very cool stuff there. I've been talking to the professor. I've been looking into resources and learning about that, potentially pursuing that more in the future of school or on my own. Probably a school thing largely. And anything else? Yeah, I've been practicing typing every day. Typing is I think it's going to be extremely valuable for the future, especially how much I type now on the computer hours a day. Typing to ChatGPT and typing papers or whatever. Typing, such a great ROI. If you double your typing speed right now and you type for 5 years of your life, you just saved, 2.5 years, depending on how you look at it, or you got 5 more years worth of work done than you would have if you were half the speed. So pretty high ROI stuff there. I don't know if I addressed this, but I changed my major to AI now. I'm artificial intelligence, and I think that's just the future of everything, and it's just the highest leverage stuff. There's so many courses I want to take, but I'm moving towards more data science and artificial intelligence, like data and AI. Those are the highest for me, and supplementary, but also similar as those are computer science and math. It's hard for me to not. I want to take physics and I want to take neuroscience. I want to take psychology, but those are more supplements. There's a lot of other supplements I like to take. I basically am interested in most courses, but at this point I've got to choose which ones I want to invest in. And for me, that's just the highest leverage makes the most sense. So that's where I'm at. I don't know if I will be posting more videos this spring break or not. I don't know. Also working on the SMA. So that's probably what I'll be doing this summer is entrepreneurship business. So that's exciting. Basically that's where I'm at. I don't know. It's hard to sum up in a few sentences where I'm at. Basically, consistency over time. That's how you make progress, and leverage, trying to always be at higher leverage. How can I learn faster? How can I acquire more valuable, higher leverage skills? Goal setting. What do I actually want to do? Yeah, continuing to get better at, or more healthy and exercising more. And about to get my Invisalign out, like 2 days, and focus a little bit on my style lately. I'm gonna get more into it when I have more money and cash flow. Um, so moving towards like materials being like non-polyester, non-plastic materials like cotton, linen, silk, satin. Those are the like healthy natural materials I want, and like to get them like fitted or good fit and then tailored. That's like the ideal stuff I've thought about a lot. And non-restrictive. I don't like tight clothes. I want to like have like freedom of movement, and so I've thought about that a decent amount. As far as like the wealth building goes, it's hard to say. I always have thought like a great place to be would be, or an amazing place would be, to be at a place where I've got enough money, or I'm living off half of my dividends from my investments, and then dripping or reinvesting um, the other half back in, so the base stays stable and the base continues to grow. So that's always been like, that would be a great place to be. Will I try to do that? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe I will. But for now, I'm going to call that good. That's a little update over the past 2 months. Who knows when the next update will be. So, yeah, talk to you guys later.